Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host, JP Jump Oz from the Two Man Power Trip. Of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
Doing great, John. We're all freezing, but we're doing good.
Man, it is freezing. The Arctic cold going on. The wind is crazy. It's just, I don't know what's going on out there.
And it's coming down the southeast up the northeast, so we'll be there shortly. So just wait.
Man, the weather has not been good anywhere in the U.S. So far this winter. Just been brutal. But what's going on? How are you doing?
Doing good after a little shoulder surgery action going on, 3 weeks out, and taking January off, and then we're coming back with JPWA in February. So everything is good.
Nice. Happy New Year, and even Happy New Year from Ibsen. Ibsen, hello.
All right. Happy New Year, Ibsen.
The modern day cowboy himself, Mitch Miller. Hello and Happy New Year. Ibsen saying there's snow here in the Jersey Shore. Yeah, we've had some snow in the area too. Not been fun dealing with that.
Yeah, well, Knoxville's expecting snow by Friday, so we'll get it.
Crazy, crazy weather.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, since WWE kicked off on Netflix, did you see the Netflix special WWE Raw that's going on?
I did watch the Netflix WWE Raw. I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought there were some good surprises, some interesting surprises. Uh, and I just read something that was Austin supposed to take Hogan's spot, or did Hogan take Austin's spot, or something like that?
That was
You read
a
that one?
rumor I heard. Yeah, that is a rumor that I heard that Austin was supposed to be a part of the show, and then he was not.
Hmm. So does anybody know what happened?
Nope, no word. Just that got pulled for some sort of creative reason, if that's even true. But they're saying possibly a creative reason that Triple H, at the last minute, decided to do something else.
Yeah, it could be. Well, but I thought it was a good show overall. I really did. Felt like a big time show.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, obviously, the Hollywood crowd is a little bit fickle, a little bit of a weird crowd, but overall, good show, and obviously made a ton of money.
Yeah, good for them. Thought it was real good.
Phil, oh, reunited and feels so good. Happy New Year, John and Doc. Yes, thank you,
Well,
Phil. Happy
thank
New
you.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Hello, Jason. Ibsen says, "How was your Christmas? Did you see Bruce?"
No. My Christmas was getting shoulder surgery. That was how my Christmas was.
Yeah, I don't know about the timing of that. You maybe should wait until after Christmas.
I don't have time to wait till after Christmas. It was December 18th, and I had to go on because I got another class coming up.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Now, with the Raw Netflix, did you think that The Rock should have done something more? I know people were complaining they wanted him to turn on somebody or continue the heel stuff, but he seemed to be in corporate mode. Being the board of directors, Rock.
Yeah. See, that really didn't bother me because he's still a huge entity in Hollywood, so he's got to be, I think, a little more on the line or whatever you want to call it. But I think he did just enough, and he made his presence known, and I thought it was great.
With that, I thought a lot more of the mainstream people were watching that he maybe shouldn't be heel Rock if he's doing this mainstream thing where he's kind of promoting the brand. Kind of maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's just was my kind of
No,
feeling
I
on
didn't.
that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I didn't mind him doing what he did, calling out Cody, and uh, being the corporate Rock. That's what's needed right now, I guess. And he did a great job.
Um, what was funny to me was he had a drink with Cody. He said, "Hey, he's on good terms." But the next night on NXT, he said he's 20 steps ahead of Cody. So
Hmm.
what does he mean by that? Did he mean that he's Cody being a typical baby face, being naive, kind of falling for some stuff from The Rock?
Well, you never know because Rock's a pretty smart guy. You never know what he's got in mind.
Mitch says, "Get well soon."
Well, thank you, Mitch. I'm going to do my best.
Interestingly enough, Triple H, if this quote Ibsen has sent me is correct with the Hulk Hogan, did you see Hogan got booed a bit from the LA crowd?
Yeah.
Um, Kind of a little crazy, but considering I don't even know if you'd be there today, those people in the crowd, if it wasn't for the Hulkster, which Michael Cole, by the way, did mention and did say there would be no
Right.
WWE without Hulk Hogan, which is true. Triple H said, "I think people need to simmer down a little bit and show some grace."
Hmm. Well, I can understand that coming from Triple H.
I don't know if I particularly. I don't know. I wouldn't get annoyed necessarily. It's free speech. The crowd can do whatever they want, but that was a little too much. That was a little weird.
Well, I think Hunter's an old school guy, and I don't think
Yeah,
uh, he appreciated Hogan getting booed out of the building. So,
yeah.
and people make mistakes all the way. Nobody's perfect, and can you allow some grace there? I don't know, but I understand why Triple H would say that. I understand his feelings. In other words.
I know people can do whatever they want. They could boo whatever, and I know people online were like, "Oh, he deserved that," and all that other stuff, and weird stuff about the Hulkster. But really, there is no modern day WWE. There's no anything without Hogan. So to
Yeah.
me, you got to show respect to the guy that kind of started it all.
Well, yeah, I agree 100%. Um, I appreciate the fact that when they were showing that package of the press conference at the WWE headquarters, Andre the Giant's is still
Yeah.
prevalent and will always be prevalent. So, that's I think Hogan's in the same category. So you gotta keep in mind that he was early on the foundation WWF, and there wouldn't be what it is today without Hogan, no doubt.
To me, and I know Hogan had said a great line about Bischoff. Obviously, he was in character, but he said if it wasn't for me, Bischoff would be selling meat at the back of a truck in Minneapolis. He was doing the
Right.
Hollywood Hogan thing. To me, without Hulk, Vince McMahon would be selling hot dogs in New Hampshire at the hockey arena. You know what I mean? I don't know if Vince is Vince without Hogan.
I agree. I think they needed each other
Yeah.
to make it. So yeah, one helped the other. So he's 100% right.
Mitch wants to know: did people boo him because of his past remarks or because he supports Trump?
I think it was a little both. I think people are just. I think people in general are tired listening to everybody. All celebrities tell you what to do. Celebrities have lost their way, and that goes a little bit for wrestling too. I think.
I think I agree with you. I think probably a bit of both, and obviously L.A. is not really known for liking MAGA and Trump and
No,
stuff like that. I mean,
no,
not
it's
at
a
all
blue
for
state.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see also that with Hogan, Real American Beer will now be a sponsor going forward for multiple years for WWE, and TKO, the parent company of WWE, bought a small minority share in Real American Beer. So that beer is not going anywhere anytime soon.
so why didn't they buy a share in Austin's beer?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if there are any rumors going around about that.
Yeah, that's true. Why not some Steve Austin? I've had both. Both are great, by the way. I love the Stone Cold American Lager, and I do love Real American Beer. I think it's great. I know not every state has it. I actually had to go down to Florida to go to get some of the Real American Beer, but I do like both beers.
Oh, good. I'll have to try them.
From Gerard Millette. Dr. Tom, I'm going to make you feel old. Sorry, but I was in the building in Salem, Massachusetts when you wrestled Kurt Angle in his first match. Can't believe that was almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. I am old, Gerard. So that's okay. I've been feeling old for a while.
Was that really his first match ever? Like that was it?
Yeah. First match in front of a crowd.
That's amazing. What did you think about him just like right off the bat? He's like, wow, this guy's going to make it?
Well, you knew he had talent because like I said, I've said this before. when I locked up with him the first time, he had an idea. He had a clue. He was loose. And most amateur guys are really solid and stiff, and you got to work with them to get through that. But he had a clue.
Gerard was the ref, by the way, for that match.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, there you go.
Gerard, the legendary Gerard Millet, was the referee there. Interesting though, Salem, Massachusetts. That was your buddies, right? Was that the Spartas? Was that their promotion?
Yeah, Mike Sparta.
Is there any reason why they select that area, or it's just that's where the show is? Kurt has
I
nothing to do
think
with anything.
Mike and what was his brother's name?
Is it Fred?
Freddie Sparta. Yeah, Fred Sparta. Yeah, Fred was an old time referee, and Mike was running shows, I think, at the time, and they had a contact, and that was a contact. It was at the beginning of developmental. So I think. Hold on. Okay, sorry, just looking at a message here. Anyway, so I think that's how that happened. It was just one of those things, the right place, the right time, and they had the ring, they had the shows already set up. So why not take the guys there?
Gerard said I was the ref, which I did confirm, and then here. Any shows in Massachusetts for you coming up? And Gerard said no, Phil. He's trying though, so no shows for Gerard coming up. But back then, did they film it? And Modern Day Cowboy has a great question here. Is that on film anywhere? Did they actually film that match?
No, I think Marty Funk took pictures though. I know she took pictures, but I don't know if anybody really filmed it, or if they did, it was WWE. They have it.
Gerard saying maybe the dojo, maybe. And he's saying
Maybe.
Freddie Sparta. Yep.
Yep.
When you look at that, were you actually Dr. Tom or were you Dr. X at that point?
No, it was Dr. Tom.
Oh, you were? Okay. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
so he's getting a win over Dr. Tom in his first match, or did you go over?
No, I put him over.
Nice. Okay. Man, they must have had high hopes. Was it a lot easier wrestling him than, let's say, Brackus?
Does a pope shit in the woods? Is a bear Catholic?
Yeah. Yes
Yeah.
and yes.
Okay.
Yes and yes.
Answers your question.
Although the Brackus, I would imagine, should have been world champion, but that's a different story for a different day.
For a different day, yes.
I love, though, that we got the referee on hand. I wonder if he thought you were a good worker or not. Well, hopefully we can get Gerard to comment on that. But in the meantime, Jason wants to know, I don't have Netflix, so I didn't see the show. I did hear during a watch along that there were too many ads. What did you think? Do you think too many ads on Netflix?
No, I don't think there were too many ads. I thought it was just about right. I mean, just like on USA. So
I don't know if this is true on the live showing or not, but my son, who's now a huge mark, 9 years old, but he's a huge mark. He's definitely a big fan. He's watched it 3 times now, Raw, and it's what, Wednesday? So he watched Raw like once a day for the last 3 days for whatever reason, which is great because that's what I would do when I was a kid, just keep watching it. But he was saying that he hadn't been starting it for when it starts. He lets it go a little bit, rewinds it, and then fast forwards right through the ads. So it's almost like we don't have any ads, but maybe that's the way to go about it. But I don't really know how Netflix is when you're watching it live, if you can actually rewind and fast forward. And I don't know about that. I don't know if you tried.
no, I didn't try it, but I doubt you can because it's live time, isn't it? I mean, it's happening.
Yeah, yeah. I was just watching it live. I didn't even think about rewinding it or fast forwarding or whatever. But when my son was rewatching it, he just fast forward through all the commercials.
Well, that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah. And he didn't notice that Travis Scott had a big blunt in his mouth either, by the way. He had no idea what was going on. So I was like, all right, that's good. You know what I mean? When he came out with Jey Uso, I was like, ooh, good thing. I thought I had to explain it to him. So I was glad I didn't have to.
Well, you will one day.
Yeah. Ibsen says, Kurt Angle match with Tom. Kurt had Dory Funk Jr. in his corner, and it's on the WWE Vault on the YouTube channel now. Wow, they aired it 2 weeks ago for the first time for the general public. Wow, Ibsen, I'm going to have to check that out. I love that Vault. I'm on there all the time on that YouTube channel. That's great.
Yeah, good. I haven't seen it like ever.
Do you ever go on that YouTube channel? It's called WWE Vault.
No.
It's got a lot of like random stuff. Like I was watching CM Punk and Doug Delicious in 2003 versus LOD. It was an LOD tryout match. Just like they put random cool stuff on there. The Dudley boy or the Steiner brothers against Dudley and Vampire Warrior from a show in '95. Like they'll put on random stuff that you don't even think of on there. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's great. That's good for people who are interested in who came before them.
Definitely. Are you going to be checking out that match now? Are you going to be wanting to go back and watch it?
I might try. What is it? YouTube? WWE YouTube?
WWE Vault, and that's on YouTube.
So you have
So
to go to Peacock or
no,
WWE?
no, no. Just go to YouTube and just type in WWE Vault. It's a
Oh, I
separate,
see.
yeah, it's a separate channel than WWE. It's pretty
Okay.
cool. It's just like a lot of random, rare stuff is on that rather than their normal YouTube channel, which is a lot of current day stuff.
Well, I might have to check it out.
Pat Patterson was in the building. Is that
Yeah,
true?
Pat was there. Yeah.
Was he like scouting Kurt? Was that like a highly sought after
Well, that
guy?
was that was the developmental guys that were coming for their matches, and Pat was friends with Freddie and Mike and everybody. So and Bruce was there. The office was there to take a look at how the developmental deal was going.
Ibsen, who is the man right now, he said that he will send me a link and I could pass it along to you from
Awesome.
that match. I really want to see it now too. That's pretty cool. I want to see how good Kurt was in his first match because some guys, like you said, some guys have it, some guys don't, but some guys I guess are just pure naturals.
Yeah, Kurt was a natural. You knew he had something.
Mitch says he wished he was there to see that.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good match.
Doug Myers, how many sets do you do for chest? Do you do barbell press or dumbbells?
Well,
That's his
Doug,
random question.
I'll tell you what, for the last 7 years, I've had this torn rotator cuff, and I didn't know it was torn, so I stopped pushing in the gym, and I could pull. But I was doing uh, incline with the barbell, and I was doing flies with dumbbells. So I use both. And I do anywhere from 4 to 5 sets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Phil says Vince McMahon's only indie appearance was at a benefit show in Massachusetts with John Cena.
Does Memphis count as an indie promotion?
I would say no, but he was Mick Memphis, right? He was in
Yeah.
Memphis a bunch.
Yeah, he was. So.
Oh, speaking of Jeff Jarrett, who we were talking about before we got on air, the next night he wrestled Jeff Jarrett in New Hampshire. Wow, I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either.
And it's funny, the reason I wanted to talk about Jarrett was because he teased retirement and then he said he's not retiring. Did you happen to catch that?
I did not. Jeff saying he's going to retire?
Teased it, but then he said he's not, and he wants to retire in AEW and have his last match in AEW, but not yet. He wants to go after the world title first.
Well, good for him.
What do you think about that? He's in unbelievable shape.
Yeah, he is. I think he could have a run with the title. I think he'd do good with it.
Are you surprised if anyone wants to know that Jarrett wants his final match in AEW of all places?
Not surprised at all.
Do you think that at this advanced age that he could be the world champion?
Well, how old is Jeff? 47?
No, 55, isn't he?
Is he 55?
Let me double
Wow.
check. I thought he's 55. He looks like he's 47 or younger,
He's
but
great, yeah.
he is. Oh my God, he's 57. Oh my, how is that possible? Wow. Oh my
I
God,
don't know.
he's
Yeah.
57
Well, how old was Flair when he won his last title?
in his 50s.
Yeah. So, as long as you're in shape and can do it.
But are you surprised it's AEW of all places and not let's say
No,
WWE?
not really. I mean, because WWE is pretty crowded right now, and AEW would be the perfect place where Jeff can do his thing and be highlighted and shine.
With Jarrett, and obviously you know him very well. You wrestled him a lot, right? I mean, you kind of like married to him for a little bit in USWA.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like working him?
Love working with Jeff. Jeff's one of my favorite opponents. Brad Armstrong, Jeff Jarrett, and Brian Christopher are my favorite opponents.
Going back to Kurt here, Gerard says the match was great. We called Kurt Angle would be something right away.
Yeah, that was the intention.
Tom, the ring WWE uses now was copied off of the ring in Salem.
I thought the ring they copied was copied off the Smoky Mountain ring.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because when I was there, that's why we changed the rings because of high flying.
Man, a lot of those old school guys have such injuries because of those damn boxing rings, right? And those like hard ass rings.
Hard ass rings. That's because nobody was really doing the high flying stuff. A couple of people were like Snuka and I don't know Dynamite Kid and those guys, but they just kept the ring pretty solid for the bigger guys.
From Scorch, Dr. Tom, what do you think of Adam Copeland's new ring name, Cope? Is there hope for Cope?
I think Adam can do anything. I think he can make something with the name, and as long as it just stays consistent with it, I think it'd be fine. I think there's hope for Cope.
Magazine Retriever says Dr. Tom, it's going to take a while for Cope or for him to get used to the name Cope, Edge's new ring name. He doesn't like it. It's going to take a while to get used to it.
Well, it'll take a while, but once it sets in, it'll be fine.
That's one of those things. Like when Dolph Ziggler first came out, it's like, holy crap, this is horrible. And then you just almost just becomes a part of the lexicon. You just almost forget about it. But when I saw that literally his name came up where in quotes says Radar Superstar Cope, I was hysterical laughing. I was like, wait, what? After a year, they changed his name to Cope, but apparently it was his idea.
Why did he want to change it to Cope?
I have no idea, but it was apparently it was his idea, and he already trademarked it. So, no clue. I guess Edge Cope. It's little quick name. Strange. I figure your real name's Adam Copeland. It kind of makes sense.
Well, sometimes that creative genius light never goes off.
You gotta love it. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Dr. Tom. So good to see you. Wishing you a happy 2025. Sorry.
Well, happy 2025 to you too, Barbara.
From Jason, I watched the full Survivor Series 1990 on the WWE Vault. I'm liking it a lot. Yeah, I love when they just put random stuff on there.
Yeah.
Especially Survivor Series 90. Ooh, great
yeah, sounds like a good place to go.
Survivor Series 90 is awesome. It's one of the Survivor Series I always like to go back and watch. Dell Mountain. Speaking of Cope, have you ever advised one of your students not to use a particular ring name?
Not that I can think of right now. I really can't.
The Christmas creature, you never told
no,
Kane, you never told Kane at that point, hey, maybe let's not do this.
That's before we cross paths.
True. Alex Cosentino, in your opinion, what kept Mark Jindrak from being a top star or becoming a star, really?
In WWE?
Mm-hmm.
I think confidence. Just my opinion. For a guy that looked that great and was as athletic as he was, I think he needed to have more confidence. And once he went to Mexico and kind of felt a little more, I think he came out. But I think just lacking of confidence.
Now, I interviewed him, God, it had to be a couple of years ago now. He was saying that he was a bit of a partier and a bit of a party animal, and that him and Orton would get in trouble, but Orton was kind of like the golden boy, and he was kind of like, well, this guy can get in trouble if Orton does anything. So he was saying that he partied way too much. Like he was supposed to be in Evolution. There was actually a video of him instead of Batista. It's him walking with Flair, Triple H, and Orton, and he's on the other side. And he said it's just partying all the time. They were getting drunk. They were doing this. They were doing that. And he said that just kind of got in the way. He was too immature.
Yeah, that could have a lot to do with it.
I've seen Jeff Point Depot Ireland 94 RR 95. and Carl wants to know if this is live. I think he's talking about Jeff Jarrett, and he's seen him in Ireland in
Hmm.
94, 95, I'm thinking. He's saying, oh, here we go. He fought Sparkplug Bob Holly, your old buddy, in Ireland. Interesting. Frank Nordquist says, I think there's hope for Cope as long as he doesn't re-injure his bad leg.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Do you like guys doing crazy spots? Because I saw people were saying that, oh, if Vince McMahon wouldn't let Edge take a spot like that, but Bronson Reed kind of took the same bump and broke his leg the same way. Are you okay with him doing that?
I think the way professional wrestling is today, and the way people have been looking at it for the last, God, 15, at least 20 years, maybe longer. It's not my wrestling anymore. It's not the kind of wrestling I grew up with. It's not the kind of wrestling I learned. But people want more. People want larger than life. People want spots. People want to see stuff like that. The one thing I will say is the basics and fundamentals never go out of style. You still have to know them, but you have to have some pizzazz, some sizzle to it as well. Nobody wants to watch anybody sit in an arm bar for hours anymore, or for even much less 2 minutes. You got to be moving, but you still have to know how to tell a story and have connection. So I think there's hope for Adam Cope, because he has that charisma. He knows how to work. He knows how to get people on his side. He knows how to communicate and connect. So that's the deal. It's not necessarily about the spots you do. It's how you do the spots you do and come out safely.
It's just funny, like, to think people were saying, oh, he wouldn't have done that, but he's done some pretty crazy spots in WWE too. So I mean, I think he's a big enough boy where he should say, like, he could call his own shots. Basically, I don't think he's 50 years old. He's been in the business forever. I don't think he needs somebody telling him what spot to do or what spot not to do.
No, I agree 100%. It's up to him to want to take that risk or not. He just has to realize he's been injured before, and some guys are just like that. Some guys want to wrestle until their 60s and 70s. I mean, Ricky Morton's 67, 68 years old, still getting in the ring. So, I mean, I think it's up to the individual. If he wants to try it and do it, that's on him.
Speaking of Jeff Jarrett, Modern Day Cowboy says, looks like he'll be having a match with MJF. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, very good, I guess. That'll be a hell of a match.
Phil wants him, instead of being Edge or even Cope, he wants him to be Cliff.
Very good, Phil.
I like that. That's actually pretty good.
That's good.
Dale is saying Jeff Hardy, on the other hand, is 47, will be 48 later this year. Wow, Jeff Hardy is that old. I can't believe that. He's still going. He still looks great.
Yeah. Yeah.
While you recover, you should give Corny the opportunity to teach a class. He is a wealth of knowledge for this generation. What do you think about that?
I don't think we get him out of his house.
No. Somebody was asking me if he'll leave the house for some convention or something, and I said I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think he's done with that.
Carl wants to know if you're anything to Bruce. I would venture to guess his brother is what I would guess.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't know. I have to ask Bruce.
That is his brother, though. That for real, as a shoot, that is his real brother. Sam Hurstler. There's been some rumors on different channels that Ric Flair wants to have another match. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are he shouldn't do it. That's my thoughts. He had his last match, and I know he wants to die in the ring, but I would just if it was, of course, I'm not Flair. Flair wants to do it. I would suggest that he doesn't, but it's up to Rick.
If you think about it, though, he did technically say, or the show was Ric Flair's last match. So that should have been his last match. Hopefully,
yeah.
Just because of the I mean, it was a huge show. It did great pay per view. Did great box office. You just hope like that's one of the things in wrestling when you say it's over, it's over. I know that doesn't always happen, but that would be kind of fitting if his last show was actually Ric Flair's last show. You know what I mean? That would be perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, I think people aren't gonna want to come see another fiasco like Nashville.
And I think he may have taken it back, saying that he thought it over and that he did have his last match. So I think he might be retired.
Yeah, yeah. I hope so.
He could change his mind, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Cope is a four-letter word which goes with his whole rated R gimmick.
Okay.
All right. I can see that.
Sure.
Um, and the match with Angle on the vault is Angle versus either Edge or Christian. I'm gonna have to check that.
Okay.
Funkin' Dojo Showcase. I don't know. It looks like it's you and him from what Ibsen told me, or what Ibsen sent me. Dr.
Yeah.
Tom, I heard that Cope likes soap on a rope, but Beth Phoenix, not so much. What do you think about that?
Not sure what to think about that. I don't know if we like stuff on the rope.
Travis Berg Jr. What did you think of Billy Kidman versus Hulk Hogan, the feud in WCW?
I never had the opportunity to see that. I was working all the time, so I don't know what that one was about. How was that?
Awful. So basically, what happened is Hogan on a radio show. They're talking about how guys, because he's kind of in and out of WCW at this point. They're not really, like they're in flux. Remember the whole New Blood thing? It like WCW was kind of struggling there. They didn't really know what to do with the older guys. They kind of wrote Flair and Hogan off, and then when Sullivan came back, he brought them back. Then Sullivan gets demoted. They bring it back Russo again. I mean, it was just crazy with the booking there. But Hogan said Billy Kidman, because they were asking about current guys in WCW, he said Billy Kidman couldn't sell out a flea market. So for some reason, that then became a real life feud, even though Hogan did not mean that to be a feud. He was being truthful. He was just shooting. Like, this guy doesn't have any charisma. He couldn't sell a flea market. They actually turned it into a real feud, but it sucked. I think it was a waste of Hogan's time. He could have
Yeah.
been feuding with like Jeff Jarrett or Mike Awesome. I don't like a bigger guy. It was weird. It didn't even look right. It just was like Hogan could kill this guy at any second. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get a chance to see it, so I really don't have any thoughts on it.
To me, to be honest, it's one of Hogan's worst feuds just because it's like, why is this going on? Like, it's a waste of time. You should be feuding with somebody else. Vampiro, I don't know anybody else but Kidman at that point.
Well,
what did you think of Macho Man versus Crush? Oh, I love this feud.
I like that angle. That was good.
They're real life buds, huh?
Yeah.
That was like one of his best friends, I guess, Mach?
I guess so. I mean, they were friends, obviously, but yeah, I thought it was good angle.
Goldberg is 58 and may have another run in him. What do you think about Goldberg?
I think if he does a farewell tour, that'd be fine because he still looks great at 58 years old.
There's a rumor that he will be on Raw on January 27th from Atlanta, Georgia.
It would be smart to do that.
He's pretty over in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Good for them.
From Frank, could the Freebirds, the Rougeaus, and Moolah have all used the moniker Fabulous at the same time in the same promotion, or would that have been too much Fabulous?
I think that'd be way too much Fabulous Frank. Like Fabulous Frank Northwest would be way too much.
The Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. Love that. That was the best. The Fabulous Rougeau Brothers.
Yes.
Tom, did you like Vince Russo?
I had no problem with Vince Russo.
Why didn't Stevie Ray ever make it to the WWE?
That I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know why Stevie didn't come to WWE and make it.
That is true. I guess at the point where Booker was there, Stevie was older at that point. He didn't really wrestle much after WCW. He basically, at the end of WCW, became a commentator and a damn good one, too. I loved him on commentary. But it just seemed like the timing was never quite right. He seemed like he was a bit older and kind of sunsetting his career at that point.
Yeah, sometimes you get to that point where you just say, yeah, I don't know if I want to get on that plane right now.
And Booker was so set as a singles guy too. It would have been weird. Like where does he work and where do they put him?
Right. Yeah. So that could have been just a matter of timing.
Flair has retired more times than the Rolling Stones, according to Jason.
Now, have the Rolling Stones ever retired?
That is true. I don't know because they're still technically going, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know the time that I've ever heard the Stones saying they retired.
Have you ever seen the Rolling Stones in concert?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Me neither.
No.
Is Flair still paying alimony? Is that why he needs to keep wrestling?
I don't know what Flair's paying, but I would think all his kids are grown up, and his wives have other lives. So I don't know.
Ibsen wants to know, did you train Tiger Ali Singh when he came to the WWF?
Yes, I did.
How did that go? What did you think about that? Because I didn't even realize that. Because we always talk about guys you train, obviously The Rock, Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, at the Bella Twins, like different people that came in, and we never mentioned Tiger Ali Singh. You training him? I didn't realize that.
Well, yeah, Ali came in with his dad. He was in I forget what class he was in, but he was in one of the fucking dojos in Stanford, and nice enough guy. I just don't think he was a natural. He never really caught on to it. He had big shoes to fill as well.
Well, yeah, his dad was a legend, obviously Canada and really Japan, which I know obviously you know very well.
Yeah.
Definitely. I did love the angle that they were doing, that he would give like an American fan $500 to see what they would do, and they would invariably do it, like lick somebody's toe jam off the Apu's feet, which was disgusting. But the guy, he came in and he did it. Like they would eat. Remember eat the worm or the snake or whatever, and the guy ate the snake. It's like, oh god, disgusting stuff. But they did it for $500.
Yeah, everybody has a price.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The old $1 Million Man thing. Yeah. And it's funny too, because the quarter-hour ratings, I got to actually delve in and get them all, but his quarter-hour ratings used to be pretty high when he would do those segments. So people loved it, that stuff, or they loved to see if somebody would do it or not.
Yeah, I could see that as the entertainment values back in the 90s.
The good old Attitude Era.
Yeah, I can see it.
What did you think of the new Saturday night's main event?
I only read reviews, but I heard it was pretty good. How was it?
See it. I liked it. I thought it was good, but that was another thing where they did a angle post show, and people were upset that the angle didn't happen on the show. Like Owens gave Cody the pile driver and took him out. But I think it was an experiment to see how you can get people to view and then turn over and do social media and then keep it going. But an experiment, I think.
Yeah, we'll live and learn. They'll get better as they go, I'm sure.
I liked it. I thought it was a good show. I was entertained by it.
Good.
Scorch said Axe Smash of Demolition said the director of the Pizza Hut commercial was angry at them for only needing one take. The crew planned to film the whole day, but Demolition got their lines in one take. They got the lines right away.
Well, screw the director then.
I feel like wrestlers are used to one take, right? Because it's usually live.
Yeah.
Except maybe that one time where Sid screwed up and he goes, let me go again. And JR goes, we're live, pal.
Well, Sid's a special fellow.
Oh, yeah. Travis Big Jr. is back. He said, why did Brackus not work out in WWF? Wasn't he, or what wasn't teachable to him?
This is a feeling business, and you have to have some kind of aptitude for it. You have to, it's like not everybody can be a Major League Baseball player or football player or, major pro athlete. So Rockus was great in bodybuilding, and every time we would go to a gym, every time we go somewhere on the road and go to the gym, there would be magazines on the table or a counter, and there you would see Brockus on the inside or on the cover of these magazines at that time. He was that big of a guy in the bodybuilding world. So he was great at that, but he just never had the aptitude or the feel for this. I don't think he was that interested. I mean, he wanted to make money, but you have to be good at this. You have to love it. I truly believe, and you have to want to do it, and you got to pay attention because he knew nothing about wrestling before he came and got in the class. He knew nothing. Didn't know who anybody was or anything about it.
I love that Vince loved him though, obviously because the bodybuilder and he looks jacked and huge. Like, but I love that Vince is like, this guy's gonna be great, and maybe not so much Vince.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was trying hard. He just
Awesome look.
awesome look, awesome guy, great guy. Had a good time with it. Real nice guy, but just didn't get it.
Crush was actually Macho Man's bodyguard, according to an interview from the Macho Man years before Randy had passed. Interesting. I knew they were buds, but
I
didn't
didn't know
realize
that.
bodyguard either. Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah.
Matty R, which we know he has that great picture. Nobody used a slapjack like Stevie Ray. Remember he had that slapjack thing and he would nail the guy with it?
Yeah,
It's a cool gimmick. They should bring that back.
they should bring a lot of things back.
I could see like Gunther or somebody getting the slapjack and just, getting the guy
Oh,
with it.
maybe so.
Dr. Tom, have you seen the trailer for the upcoming movie Queen of the Ring about the legendary female?
I have not.
And of course, referring to Mildred Burke.
Burke, yeah. I have not seen
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that again. YouTube. Ibsen sent me the you versus Kurt Angle match. Now I'm gonna have to look up the trailer for Queen of the Ring. I didn't see that either. I think
who's
Camila's in it.
who's playing Mildred Burke.
Oh, good question. I don't know. Let's look. But I know Camila's in it. I thought, which is
Really?
pretty cool.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Mildred Burke. It is the biopic of Mildred Burke, the first ever $1 million female athlete and pro wrestler champion who pioneered the sport in a time. Why some commercial just came up as I was reading it. As a time when girl wrestling was banned in most of America.
Hmm.
Emily Bette Rickards is playing Mildred Burke.
Okay.
I don't know who she is. She's actually pretty attractive. I just don't know who she is or what she's known for. Oh, she's known for Flash and the Arrow.
Hmm.
So a bunch of CW shows and Calamity Jane. Interesting. I'm going to have to check that out, though, for sure.
Very nice.
Yeah, more wrestling stuff. I love that there's more wrestling stuff out there. I feel like it's really slowly but surely taking over. Everything is wrestling.
Well, how did the Iron Claw do in theaters?
That is a good question. I know I saw it and I thought it was great, but I don't know if it necessarily made money.
Yeah,
I can
I
look that
saw
up.
it. Yeah.
I can look that up. What did you think? Did you like it? I don't remember
Well, I
what
liked
you
it
had.
because I knew the story, but I also knew they had changed the story, so or left parts out of it.
Right. So it cost about 15 million and it made 45 million. So it did make money, but maybe
Yeah,
not up to the snuff of what they wanted to make, but it was profitable. It did make money.
that's good.
ATF watched the Amazon series Carneyland. Wasn't there one person on that show smart enough to book Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin?
Absolutely not. There wasn't. There was not one person on that show smart enough to book Ronnie. I'll look
I
into
act
that.
I actually saw on Peacock coming up, and I watched it on CW as well. But Adventures in Carneyland with Billy Corgan, the backstage story of Billy Corgan, and obviously the NWA. That was a really good thing, and now it's
Isn't
on
that what he's
Peacock.
talking about? Yeah, isn't that what he's talking about?
I would hope he said Amazon series Carneyland, so I'm not sure if that's something else, but it's not on Amazon as far as I know. Is it? I thought it was
No,
on CW and now it's on Peacock.
it was on the CW app, I think. But no, I thought that was it. I didn't know there was Amazon Karting Land. That was Billy Corgan's Karting Land.
Adventures in Carneyland.
Adventures in Karting Land.
That's good stuff. Was Gangrel ever supposed to get a bigger push in a WWE, as far as you know?
I don't have a clue. I thought he did pretty good for himself, though.
I always kind of liked him even more than Edge and Christian, but obviously, age-wise, like they were the up and coming guys that were going to get the push. Not that he was old or anything, but they were like the guys that were up and coming from the dojo. Like they were starting to get the push. Like he
Yeah.
was there to kind of help them get over.
Right.
And I believe
right.
he is referring to Billy Corgan's show there. I believe.
Yeah. I think so too.
Isn't Tony Storm involved? I'm not sure what Phil is referring to. It's Tony Storm. But Matthew Rodriguez wants to know your thoughts on the timeless Tony Storm character.
I only saw the timeless Tony Storm character a couple times where it was in the black and white, right?
Yep.
In black and white. I thought it was okay for what it was, but I liked her better in color.
So now she's back and she's doing the gimmick, like her old school, like I don't know, it's like surfer chick or whatever she's supposed to be, that gimmick. Or no, rocker girl. She's supposed to be a rocker girl. So she's like doing that gimmick, but she lost her memory. So she doesn't remember being in AEW before. So it's kind of funny in a way. So I don't know, she's a pretty good actress. Creative as hell.
Yeah, I like her.
Do you take your students to WWE events?
We have before, yes.
I took my son to his first ever show, Madison Square Garden, for the holiday tour. He was loving it. He's hooked now. After this show, he is hooked.
I can see.
Yep, he wanted the belt. He wants all this Yeet stuff. He's hooked. He loves CM Punk. So once you take those guys to the show, they will love it.
Yeah, I agree. They should love it if they're going to train.
Mitch is saying there's a new show coming out called Dark Match, Wrestling and Horror. Wow, more wrestling. I love it. I will have to check that out too.
Where is that going to be on?
Mitch, let us know when and where this is going to be on, because I got to put it on my list of shows to watch.
Yeah.
Dr. Tom, many pro wrestlers say they're lucky to have one good friend in the business, but you've had at least 5 good friends. Why do you think that is?
I didn't have as many good friends as you think. I had Brad Armstrong was my best friend. We talked on a daily basis. Now I've got acquaintances and a couple of people that I talk to, but it's just because I think I was kind of a loner, and I had the people I hung around with. I tried to stay out of as much trouble as I could, and still managed to put my foot in it. So I think it's just the nature of the competitiveness of the business, and especially today, it's even more competitive and ruthless. And I'm watching Succession.
Ooh, good show. Yes.
Great show. It shows you how competitive everything is, and what you have to go through, and the things that people do. And I think that's just anything in the entertainment business is going to be like that.
Bruce said on his podcast that he gave Double J Jeff Jarrett the gimmick where he rhymes the name JEFFJARRET. Is that a fact?
You have to ask Bruce. I wasn't there.
I did like that because it was like extra annoying for the crowd. You know what I mean? They hated it. Like, what is this guy doing? He's spelling out his name. Like, great heel work there from Double J.
Double Jeff could be a great heel and great babyface.
Right now in AEW, he's a great babyface. I love it. Pro wrestling, from Scorch saying, pro wrestling is connected to so many major aspects of our culture. Look at Representative Lauren Boebert, who they thought Stan Lane was her biological father.
Yeah, wrestling's been connected for a long time in major aspects of our culture. It just, if something was going on outside, wrestling tried to imitate it, mirror society.
Matty R wants to know if John maybe John Jr. or myself, pop for CM Punk making a save in a towel and shower cap at MSG. I thought that was pretty funny. I liked it, but my son didn't think it was funny. He said, I've seen funnier stuff. And for some reason, he didn't think it was funny. I thought it was great.
Yeah, Punk
And it
came down
created a viral moment because so many people were talking about it.
he came down in his towel.
Yeah, with the shower cap on and was fighting off Ludwig Kaiser and Dominic Mysterio. Saved
Hmm.
Damian Priest.
Oh, okay. Well, seen it before, but that's good.
Danny, hello, Danny. Sam is saying Gangrel is in CWF right now. And he's the trainer for CCW down there in Florida.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Speaking of wrestling is everywhere, Jason saw a movie with Batista and Jodie Foster, Hotel Artemis. Pretty decent.
I have to check that out.
Batista's a pretty damn good actor, I got to be honest.
Yeah, I saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, he's great in Guardians. Drax, yeah, he's great in that. I think he's the
Yeah,
best character in that movie, to be honest.
I do too.
Barbara wants to know, did Eugene get too popular that they had to pull him back? He was getting a huge pop.
I don't know if he was getting too popular. I don't know what happened with that.
You know what's crazy about Eugene and kind of sick on Vince's part? It's based off of a real person named
Yeah, I
Eugene.
know Eugene.
Yeah, I just thought that why would Vince think that was funny? But thank God Eugene thought it was like a tribute, and Nick Densmore
Right.
was close with him and friends with him, and thank God. But if they knew that Vince his intentions, I don't think they would have been a fan of him having that character.
Yeah, well, Eugene was he entertained all the boys backstage.
Pretty crazy that they did that gimmick, but Nick Densmore obviously did a good job with it, and he was over like crazy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Taz's debut in 2000 WWF Royal Rumble?
Um. Well, I thought it was effective for Taz. I remember. I think when did he work with Angle?
Royal Rumble 2000. Well, his
Okay.
first match, he was a surprise for his debut. I was there live in attendance at Madison Square Garden. Got an awesome pop.
Yeah.
I
So
loved the debut. I just felt like afterwards they didn't really do anything with him. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like they just kind of use him less and less and less after that. I know he was tag team champ. He's doing different things, but they could have used him a lot better.
yeah. Well, they could have done a lot of things too. I think he might have got caught up in politics too.
Yeah. And he was saying that he wanted to have a match with the Undertaker, stuff like that. I feel like once you get into who you should wrestle, who you shouldn't wrestle, or maybe he was told he's supposed to wrestle Undertaker and never did. I don't know, it's like a slippery slope politics in WWF, especially with a new guy that gets a big pop. I could
Yeah.
see you got a target on your back.
Yeah. Definitely.
Ibsen says one of your best friends in the business was Jimmy Del Rey. The other one was Cornette. I don't know about Jimmy Del Rey, but probably Cornette.
No, no. Cornette was a good friend in Smoky Mountain. Jimmy and I were acquaintances, and we were just two different people.
Mitch says Dark Match is actually a movie. Sorry. It just recently, he just saw the trailer. It's been out since July 2024. So Dark Match, the movie, I'm going to have to check that out.
Okay. Yeah.
There
I'll
was
check
a there was a great movie from 1990 called Dark Man with Liam
it out.
Neeson, which was a phenomenal movie. They did make a sequel, which wasn't as good, and the third one, believe they made three of them, wasn't that good either. But Dark Man was a great movie.
Mm.
Um, MSB. Anyone ever drop a fart in gorilla position and then leave for the ring?
A lot of people.
Anybody in particular that you can think of?
Nobody, I'd say no.
No, Shane McMahon. No, nobody.
No.
Magazine Retriever. Apparently, Luna Vachon was born and raised in the USA. That's why she didn't have a heavy Quebecer accent like her father and her uncle.
Probably so.
Also, wasn't she adopted?
That I don't know.
Could have sworn she was.
Hmm.
Jason, good point. The first Darkman was Sam Raimi. He did that movie. That's right. Before he became very popular with Spider-Man many years later. But yes, Sam Raimi was Darkman. The first one is awesome. I love it. I actually watched it not that long ago.
Cool.
You should make a second book.
Well, I might do that, Ibsen.
I'll get back to that in 1 second, but please ask Dr. Tom if there's ever been a wrestler who everyone thought would be a bust but became a huge star.
I don't know. Mark Henry.
Wow, okay.
I don't
I
think
was,
too many people were thinking he's going to be a big star, but he did.
you know who I was thinking of that immediately comes to mind?
Who's
The
that?
Miz. The Miz.
Yeah, the Miz too.
Man, and huge star, married to Maurice, multiple time champion, still going today. He's actually interesting on TV every week. Great actor. The Miz.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. I think the Miz. Mark Henry, that's another good one. Yeah, for sure. But speaking of books, Dr. Tom, where can everybody get your book?
Well, you can go to jpwa.com or jpwrestlingacademy.com. Thank you very much. And click on the training tab at the top of the page, and it'll bring you to my book. For an autographed copy, just email me at jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com, and I'll get one out to you.
Barbara, autograph copy. She just perfect timing there. Mentioned the autograph copy for you.
Yep.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. You could follow Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard. Anything else going on in this crazy world?
No, I'm just rehabbing this arm, man, and hoping to get better.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Magazine Retriever. Mike D throwing out there that Rick Martel is getting toys now. Rick Martel back in the game. So a little bit of announcement there before we wrap it up there. Interesting. Welcome back from Phil, as John Sebastian once said. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Matty R., the greatest picture of the business there, Matty R. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next week for a little Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. See you next week, folks.